So you've got yourself the new style yellow Rupes polishing pads and you don't like them. Or you need some and you're worried by the reviews you've seen online. Fear not, I've got you covered. So yeah, I've suffered similar woes to what other people have been reporting online with the new high performance fine polishing foam pads, the new yellow Rupes foam pads. They're not just, so the new, if you don't know, the old style has been replaced. They're a slightly different shape, they're a slightly different size, but a lot of people online think that they're actually a completely different foam. A lot of reports of them being firmer than the old pads, not softening up as quickly as the old pads, and as such, in use, rather than softening and conforming to the panels, people are having problems with the pads skipping over the surface and therefore leaving sort of haze and marks everywhere. I've had similar issues or versions of the same issues as other people. I report the same thing. Initially I wasn't impressed either. I wanted the old pads back as well, but fortunately there is a very simple solution, a short-term solution to get you using the pads and getting the results that you remember now, and then the long-term solution happens over time anyway. So first job is you need to take your pad out of the packaging. It's weird, but the pads always work better when they're out of the packaging. And then you've got to take that pad and we want to dunk it into some very warm water. Don't burn yourself, not so hot that you can't put your hands in, but really hot water. Much like when you're using the pads and they're warming up on the surface of the panel and they sort of soften up over time. Same thing's going to happen here, but accelerated. So we're going to dunk them in your bowl or your bucket of water, whatever you're using, and we just want to try and break up the cell structure. Just knead the pads through your hands with your thumbs, break it down. You'll feel it getting softer and softer over time. Just keep doing that about a minute or so. Take them out, wring them out so there's no water in them, and you're breaking up that cell structure, so you're softening it temporarily. Put it back in, press down on the pad, so if it's face down, crush it down onto the bottom of the bowl or the bottom of the bucket, whatever you're using. Again, press it down, let it absorb the water, force the water out, constantly heat in and out, constantly breaking up that structure, wring them out again. Just repeat this process for about a minute and it'll be very evident that that pad feels like an older pad that has been broken in. Wring out all of the water that you can, make doubly sure that it is as dry as possible. And then you want to take that pad and you want to slap it on your machine, get it centralized. Even though you've wrung it out, it is going to be a little heavier because there is water in it. So then you're going to either take that machine outside, or if you're inside like me, put it over a bucket and you want to spin it out. So centrifugal force forces out 99% of the liquid that's inside it. Fire it up, run it for a bit, turn it up to full speed, start and stop it, shake it around, do whatever you need to do. Just run it and run it and run it until there's no more spray coming out of the pad. If you feel it now, you will feel that pad feels like an older pad. It's much less rigid, the surface is much softer. We're already there, we're already on our way. Now you know what I'm all about here. I'm all about blowing the smoke away from the mirrors and shining a light into the dark corners that other people hide in. So I'm not just going to tell you, hey, this is great, this is awesome, drop me a like, I've got the answers. I'm going to show you that it works, and I'm going to show you on this black Porsche that has relatively sensitive paint that the answers that I have given you, they will work for you too. So I'm nothing if not honest. So first things first here, these holograms that you can see, I've created them. I've had to chop these, some very, very bad etching out and some quite bad scrub marks, which is probably somebody trying to remove those etchings with a Brillo pad or similar. I've had to chop those out with wool on the rotary. So I have induced those holograms. Please do not mistake these holograms for the type of holograms that an unscrupulous quote-unquote detailer hides with a filler or that a body shop creates. Yes, you can see them. Yes, they are obvious, but they are nowhere near as deep as the type of thing that a body shop will give you back. They're not scratchy. They're not defined. You can't feel them. They are just very, very light holograms that are completely unavoidable if you're using a heavy wool with heavy compounds. So hopefully you can already see that there is no skipping around of the pad. Hopefully you can tell that the polish is laying down very, very even, very equidistant. The pad is obviously conforming to the shape of the panel, so we're not leaving heavy spots and light spots. It's running as you will remember the old yellow Rupes pads to do. I've got this machine set at about speed 4.5, and we are using Sonak's Perfect Finish. Your mileage may vary, but 90% of the cars that I do here, this combination is, pardon the pun, it is the perfect finish. It is a brilliant, brilliant combination. You don't need to stress, you don't need to strain, you don't need to add tons and tons of pressure. It just works, and if it doesn't, you will know very, very quickly and you can try something else. There is no one size fits all, nothing does everything, but this is a great starting point if you haven't yet tried it. If you can't get hold of Perfect Finish, give the EX0406 a try. It's basically the same polish, it's definitely the same abrasive, just with a slightly different carrier specifically designed for random orbital machines like the one we're using here. But if you've got Perfect Finish, it will give you just as good results. So once I've done both sections of the bonnet, I then just use the residue that's left to go over to treat it as one big section. And then I'm going to remove it with a rinseless wash, as I always do. If you don't know why I do this, I'll link you to a video above, you can go and see that. But in short, it just helps mobilize and remove polish much more efficiently, meaning you're leaving less behind, so we've got less work to do with the panel wipe later. Use a second cloth to dry that rinseless wash off, revealing a true finish. No cuts, no edits, and these are the results. You can see the holograms, they are very, very obvious. I am not hiding, I am not trying to hide, I'm not editing them out. I'm not saying somebody else left them, I created them. It is not unprofessional to create holograms, it's unprofessional to leave them. But crucially, the refined side is perfect. Some deeper defects left, that's fine, that's part of the job. It's not in for correction, it's just in for a very, very good enhancement, which is what we've got. So that's it, I hope that helps. A very, very short-term solution to a problem that a few, including myself, have gone through. I will say, once you've used the pads a couple of times, you will not need to do that. It's like once you have broken down that cell structure a little bit, they're much softer. There's less requirement to artificially break them in yourself. And honestly, now I've been running them for, I don't know, a month, maybe a couple of months. I've got to say, I actually think they're a better pad than the old one. I certainly think they're going to be a much more robust pad. I don't think the actual surface is going to break down and collapse as quickly. I think they're going to be a much more hard-wearing, long-term pad, which over time should save us all money, which is good, and less waste, which is always good. So if you've seen the reviews online, you've been worrying, if you're trying to buy the old pads, or you can buy the old pads, fine, but if you can't, go ahead and buy the new ones, follow those simple instructions. I absolutely guarantee to you, you will not have any issues. These pads are more than adequate. They are probably long-term better than the old ones. They're just a little bit different, and so we've got to use them a little bit differently. Don't panic, don't worry, buy them, use them, get the results. Happy detailing. I'll see you on the next one. I hope it's been useful. Catch you all soon.